It doesn't make you any stronger. It just gives you these giant biceps and giant triceps. It just makes you look really bizarre.
I got a pretty cool steroid story.
Yeah?
One of my fighters, like maybe 5 years ago, I got him a meeting with the head of Pride. The head of Pride. I don't want to say his name.
I know this story.
We sat down, and at the time, my fighter was probably 175. That's what he was walking. So we were thinking, introduce him to the man and try to get in at 55 in Pride.
I think it was 60, right?
60,
Pride
yeah,
was
60, that's right. So that's what we were thinking. Usually cut weight and fight. And he was 5'11". And the Pride guy said, we like you have good look. We like you. But what you weigh? And he said 175. And he goes, He goes, but I can cut to 160 easy. He goes, no, we want you 185, 190. And we were stumped. Like, what the hell? What do you say to that? He wants us to gain weight? And, homeboy was like, no, I can't, I'm not going to go. How am I going to do that? He goes, we want you 185. And I told him, I go, yeah, we'll do it. I'm like, we'll just get you in, man. We'll figure it out later. But in Japan, they encourage steroids, which is crazy.
Wow. Well, it's just that one organization, right?
I don't know if they have any tests for steroids in Japan. Do they? For Shudo, do they test for steroids? I don't think they test at all, period.
Well, they tested, but they didn't do anything, apparently.
Is it illegal? So they do tests and they go along with the charade?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd have to ask them. Like, if you talk to Vanderlei, he says that he got tested every time he did Pride. But what I understand is, they tested people. This is coming from people who manage fighters who fought over there, but they don't do anything with it. And even if they wanted to, like, say you tested hot, they could, pull out a test and say, oh, you tested hot, and then use it against you. But for the most part, they didn't do anything about it.
Isn't it insane that everybody involved in, generally, everybody, you got to know, that you got to say, you got to guess that everybody involved in major sports, like especially football, like all the coaches and everybody in the, high up, they all know their athletes are doing steroids and they test. But if they wanted to, they could bust everybody. They'll just random test anytime. They just wanted to come down and put their foot down. It's like the drug war in Colombia. They're stopping a couple, every now and then they'll bust a cartel every now and then. They know everybody's aware that most of the drugs are getting through. 90% of the drugs are getting through. And most of them are probably coming from through our own government. But we pretend that that they're making a difference. They pretend that every now and then they'll put out a fire in the jungles of Colombia or Peru. They'll find a camp that is abandoned. They already got all their shit done, but they burn it so they can't use it again. It's incredible. But back to the steroid thing. It's like the whole steroid thing. Like, don't admit it. Don't always deny it. And pretend like, the regulations and all the steroid tests are actually keeping people from doing steroids. I don't think they are. I think most professional athletes, in my opinion, I think you have to do it if you want to compete at the upper levels.
I don't think you have to. Some guys don't have to. Like John Jones, I don't believe he's on anything. I believe him. He says he's not on anything. I believe it.
Yeah.
I think, he takes supplements. Probably takes glutamine. I know he takes glutamine. I know he takes, multivitamins and shit like that. Yeah. But there's some guys that need more help, And does that mean they shouldn't be able to compete at the highest levels? That's where the real question is. Should it all be 100% natural?
I think the sport itself, if it was legal, I think the sport itself would regulate it, because we know if let's say Cyborg wanted to be 190 pounds, she could do that, easily. But the sport will regulate your weight. Like, you're not going to get too crazy with it anyways. You're not going to get like a bodybuilder who's.
Well, I don't know. You
pounds.
could say that because look at Alistair Overeem. Alistair Overeem was 100. He was at one point in time 205. That's what he fought at. 203 actually, pride weight, and walked around. Who knows what he weighed? He weighed more. He's a skinny guy, but he had to cut weight for sure. Killed his endurance. Now Alistair is 263 pounds.
But he could be 310 if he wanted to. He's tall enough. He has the frame. If he wanted to be, he could be a massive 320-pound guy.
But I mean, you look at him, man. He is a superhero. You know, I mean, I don't think anybody has a problem with that.
That his weight works for his build. He's doing great.
Right.
So the sport, his division, his frame, that'll regulate whether he's not going to go out of control. Like, you know, the dudes that are using it in MMA, they're not going to try. They're trying to cut weight.
Bob
you know?
Sapp is the argument to that, obviously.
One dude, couple dudes, whatever.
There's always going to be guys like that. So you think guys like that should just be legal? Should just be like.
I think steroids should be legal. That's what I think.
Do you think they should be regulated, though? Should there be anybody that watches them and make sure you're not going Bob Sapp style? Or do you think a guy should be allowed to just whack it out and just take it deep?
No one's regulating how many cigarettes you can smoke. You can smoke as many cigarettes as you want.
What is worse? Do you think steroids are worse than cigarettes?
Fuck no.
Misuse? Yes.
You think so,
Yeah,
Brian?
you misuse cigarettes. Wow, you just have to a little bit of goober in the morning. You misuse steroids, you could probably do some permanent damage.
Are you basing this on any research whatsoever?
No, I mean, like, if you get a kid that's 14 years old, he can misuse steroids pretty quick.
Okay,
you know,
that's a good point.
If you misuse cigarettes at 14, you're just going to become addicted to
what you
cigarettes.
said when you said children is a good point. The developmental process really can get fucked up if you are a child and you start introducing hormones.
Yeah.
And a lot of high school kids apparently take roids.
A lot of people in high school do.
That's crazy.
How about that kid back in the house? You know, he's probably 20 now, but back when he was like 10, Hercules, he was on the Howard Stern show.
Yeah.
Hercules, can we see that?
Yeah, his parents were giving him roids.
For sure, right?
Yeah, 100%. They went to jail for it. Yeah, they caught him giving him something. Poor kid. That's sad shit. Dude.
Little Hercules, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was fucking swole, and he was a little tiny kid, man. Scary shit.
It's crazy how everyone's got to pretend like it's, you know, no one's doing it. Only a select few are doing
Well,
it.
I don't think...
Holy shit, look at that.
Yeah, we're looking at the video of the kid. He's built like a brick shithouse, and he's a tiny little kid. It's really kind of nuts. He's got like a full 8-pack.
Wow.
And
Holy
I guess
shit.
his dad was the one who was training him and getting him to do shit.
He doesn't look that big, you know, as he
He's
got
off
older.
the sauce. He's completely off. He got off of it, but I think he had like real problems.
I wonder
when
what
he
he's
got
up
off
to.
of it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think his body was all fucked up, you know? You're a little kid and you're getting fed roids. I heard of a dude, I think it was one of Joey Diaz's friends, who gave his dog steroids. He had a Rottweiler with giant muscles. No, it wasn't Joey Diaz. It was someone